Hi guys, my name is Kiani Simas, and today for my podcast episode, I'm going to be touching on how social media has affected the youth's mental health and just teens' mental health in general. So the first thing I want to talk about is in 2023, the U.S. General Surgeon Advisory reported that 95% of 13 to 17-year-olds do use social media, and about one third of these people are using it almost constantly. And this just kind of goes to highlight how, during this critical point of your adolescence, your emotional, your social, and psychological development is almost being tampered with because of social media. And according to the same US General's advisory, social media can help youth connect through people with similar interests, identities, and experiences. I know that for me personally, I am able to connect with people with all different types of backgrounds, but certain people can feel misunderstood online. So this is especially valuable for the people that do feel marginalized to get out there online and find their community, because you really can find your community through social media on so many different apps and just going on your phone. So researchers Candace Odgers, Michaela Jensen discuss how digital media can create opportunities for learning, self-expression, and there's social support there. So young people do find educational content, they can explore hobbies, and they can share their creative work. I know for me, I am able to get educational content out there. When I need to learn something, I usually go on TikTok first to figure that out. And I know for me, like, I get all of my news on TikTok. It's just that all of these big networks like CNN, CBS, the New York Times, all of these people have TikTok accounts and Instagram accounts. So when there is news, in order to reach a certain audience, they do post on TikTok, and that's where I do get a lot of my news. Or if I want to fact check, I mean, I will go to Google, but I do usually see it off of TikTok first. And there are some risks of social media. So, a systemic review conducted by Bruce Keels, Neil McCrae, and Anne Marie Grealish analyzed numerous studies explaining adolescents' social media use, and their findings did suggest that there were higher levels of depression, anxiety, and psychological distress. I would say that myself and others that I am around, it does cause a lot of anxiety, just because I think that social media now, it's like perfect, picture perfect, and people do only post the best parts of their life on social media, which I think that is so important to remember when going on social media, and maybe comparing yourself and feeling kind of unequal to other people. So, Dartmouth Health, their researchers kind of explain that social media can contribute to feelings of inadequacy, and when users are constantly comparing themselves to others, that can lead to depression and anxiety. And this pressure does become really intense during adolescence because you are trying to form peer acceptance, which is very important in your adolescence. The Mayo Clinic kind of discusses their concerns about teens and their social media use by, cyberbullying is linked to social media and increased rates of anxiety and depression and emotional distress among these users. And Gen Z is actually the highest depressed generation out of all generations. 45% of Gen Z has reported to be depressed. And that's insane, just because Gen Z is the generation that kind of did grow up with social media. So I think it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how it affects this generation and how it affects generations that are, here to come. Just because I know for me, I should not have had social media when I was 12 years old. And I know my kids are not going to have social media until they're literally in eighth grade or high school. And so I just think that, like, now that I've lived this life and that I've seen it, I kind of want to do things differently. And I think that a lot of other people would actually agree with that. So, one of the most interesting findings from recent research is that social media does not affect all people in the same way. Researchers Patty Van Klin, Berg, Adrian Meir, and Irene Byers did emphasize the point that they did find that social media does vary significantly person to person. While some people do have positive effects on social media, other people do experience the negative effects of social media. So, factors such as personality, existing mental conditions, and social support systems kind of do affect the way that people do use social media and how that affects their mental health. Ogers and Jensen also argue that the relationship between digital media and mental health is more often complex than headlines are suggesting. So, while some studies are showing correlations between social media use and mental health challenges, researchers continue to debate the correlation between these relationships directly. So, researcher Jean Twang also contributes to this conversation, and she does point out that evidence suggesting that increased smartphone and social media is actually correlated with higher rates of depression and loneliness. So her work has fueled an ongoing conversation about mental health of the youth declining due to how they everyone has smartphones and everyone has social media and access to social media. And additionally, a report from 2025, the Pew Research Center, does show that they have found that teens themselves recognize both the positive and the negative effects of social media. I will definitely say myself that I have experienced the positive and the negative effects of social media. I love social media. I like to go on it. I like to see other people's content just to see what other people are up to. It's kind of like weak ties. I have met so many people in my life, and when you get their Instagram, it's like you're connected forever because even if it's people that I worked with in the past, people that I met through sports in the past, just anything, I can still see all of their stuff because we do follow each other and we are connected through social media. But there also have been negative effects where if I am scrolling on social media too long and I'm looking at pages of people, I can start comparing myself physically, but also just the way that they are living their life. It's like, how come, we're the same age, but I'm over here and they're doing all this fun stuff. So sometimes I think that also can be a comparison. I have to put the phone down sometimes, especially with Instagram, just because it can be way too much. And then I just find myself kind of being a little sad when there's really nothing sad to be about. It's just that it's everything's fake online is what I've come to realize as I am getting older. So while some have reported that social media helps stay connected and express themselves, others have reported feeling pressure, they feel anxiety from their online experiences. So I just think it's really important to remember that social media does affect everybody super, super differently. And it can be good and bad. I just think use it in segments. Don't use it too much. Don't use it constantly. But go online sometimes. Give yourself some screen time. Maybe after work, after you finish your schoolwork. I love to just lay in bed and scroll after work. I love to just brain rot. But something else that I have been doing to help with social media is I've just been watching reality TV because it's kind of like it's not like the same, but it's just like these are real people. These are their lives. It's entertaining, but it's in a different format. So I like to use that for my brain rot rather than scrolling on my phone through TikTok or Instagram. I also like to watch YouTube videos too. So that's that. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed.